Hi.
What's up, you guys? It's Ethan, and welcome back, or welcome to, or welcome... Well, that's really not it. But welcome to my channel. So, for today's video, well, you know what, first, let me start off. Merry Christmas. I hope you guys are all having a good Christmas. It might not be Christmas when you're watching this, because this video is supposed to go up on Christmas, but knowing me, you know... sometimes stuff just happens, and you plan for something to go up at some point, and you're just like, I'd rather take a nap than edit my video, which is why I just filmed Vlogmas Day 9 today. Yeah, Vlogmas Day 9 today, and I haven't even uploaded 5, 6, 7, or 8. So, I mean, those are coming, you know, wait for those, watch those, you know. If you haven't seen those, go back and watch them before or after you watch this story time. But anyways, so I hope you guys are all having a good Christmas. Basically for Christmas, if you haven't seen my Vlogmases, I explained this in those. But I go to Ohio for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I didn't want to have to, like, vlog with my family if they were like, what the fuck is YouTube? Like, shut up, kid. And I'm like... So, I decided that I would do a story time, and I was gonna do a different story, and then realized that it probably wouldn't be a good idea. So, here we are. That was, like, literally a couple minutes before I started filming this, so, you know, I had to really put my thinking cap on and think of some news stories that I could tell you guys, and that were, like, Christmas themed, because obviously it's Christmas, we're gonna do holiday videos, and duh! But, yes, so I thought of 3 stories that have happened in my life. And, you know, I just thought I'd share with you guys, because Christmas is all about giving, and I am just giving you guys these stories, so my gift to you. Alright, so let's get started. So the first story, we're really getting into it with this one, is the story of how I found out, / when I found out, / what happened when I found out that my homeboy Santa Claus,
isn't real.
So basically, we're gonna take it back to, you know, 5th grade. So, 5th grade, I remember I was sitting in English class with my friend Sydney, and it was, like, right before Christmas break, and we were like, oh, Christmas break, like, we are about to, like, have a good break, take lots of naps.
Actually, in 5th grade, I didn't nap yet. That's irrelevant of when I started napping.
But anyways, so we were super excited for Christmas break, and I remember we were talking about, like, what we wanted for Christmas or something, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, like, I asked my parents for, like, a DSi, and, like, I asked Santa for, like, an iPad, and I really want an iPod Touch, like, yada yada yada, and my friend Sydney just looked at me and was like...
You know Santa's not real, right?
And I was literally like... What? And she was like...
I got an iPad last year from Santa, but before Christmas I saw it under my parents' bed, so Santa's not real.
And I was like... So, I really just denied it. I was like, oh no, he's real, like, stop, like, what are you talking about? And then I went home. And I remember I went home and my mom was sitting on the couch, and I was just like... We need to talk. And she was just like, what? And I was like... Is Santa real? And, you know, she sat me down, she held my hand, and she said, Ethan, you know, I've been wondering when this day would come, but, like, what do you think? And I was just like... You know, I just don't know. I'm really confused right now. You know, I have Sydney, homegirl Sydney over here telling me that he's not, but I think he is. And she looked at me in the eye and said, he's not. And about 3 seconds later, I started bawling my eyes out, and... literally all through that day, like, through the rest of the day, I just, like, wouldn't stop crying. Like, when she told me, I probably cried for, like, about, like, half an hour, like, crying, like... Like, I was distraught. I've never cried so much in my life. Like, I can't even think of a time I cried more than I did at that point. So then... later that night, you know, I, like, got myself together, and I'm just laying in bed, and I literally start thinking about it again, and I just, you know, lose it again. Literally I'm, like, again, bawling my eyes out. I go downstairs to my mom, it's probably, like, 11:30, and I'm just like, And she literally looks at me and goes, Ethan, like, oh, I know you're really sad about it, but, like, you really just gotta, like, pull it together and go to bed. Like, you're gonna be really tired in the morning. So my, whimpering ass walks my ass back upstairs and continues to cry. Then I go to my parents' room, and I was, like, crying to him. And then that night, he was just like, you know what, you can just sleep in here. Like, it's okay. Really comforting me. And, yeah, that is how I found out that Santa wasn't real. I'm, still a little, like, shook about it. 'Cause I really thought Homeboy was real, but it's fine. So the next story is a story that I will literally never forget. Mostly because I have a scar from it, and, my finger will never look normal. And you may be like,
Ethan, what are you talking about, like your finger?
yeah, you're about to find out. So it's the night before we were leaving for Ohio. And my bratty freshman ass, that freshman year itself is a whole other story time. I don't know what was wrong with me that year, but like, ooh, if I could go back in time and like beat up my freshman year self of high school, obviously because I'm a freshman in college, but like around. But like, if I could go back in time and beat up my freshman year self, I would. I was such a little bitch. Like, ooh, I don't even know how to explain it, but basically there was the day before we were leaving for Ohio, so I was packing up my room, and the whole entire week my dad had been telling me, like,
hey, like, you really need to clean your room, like, it's so messy, like, please clean it.
Like, super nice. And then, like, towards the end of the week, when my bitch ass still had not cleaned my room, he was like,
hey, asked you, like, a gazillion times, please clean your room.
And then it got to the point where he literally comes into my room. My clothes are, like, not, like, everywhere, but basically what it was that, like, I had clothes out that I need to, like, put in my closet and put into my dresser and stuff, but I just hadn't done it yet. But then on top of that, I was like, well, I remember my reasoning was why I didn't put them away was just because I wanted to keep them out so I could just, like, quickly pull, like, outfits and, like, put outfits together that I wanted to pack for Ohio. Oh, that was not a good idea. So he comes into my room and he sees that I still have yet to clean it. And he looks at me and is just like,
if you don't clean this all up in 5 minutes, I'm coming back in here and then taking away your electronics. And you're not allowed to bring them to Ohio.
And basically, if you don't know, like, what my electronics were, basically was like, if he was talking about, like, my phone, my iPad, like, my iPod Touch, my computer, like, everything. You know what I mean? So, like, there was no, like, getting around, like, oh, if I don't have my phone, I'll just use my iPad, or like, oh, if I don't have my iPad, I'll just use my, like, iPod, or, oh, like, I'll just use my computer. No, none of that. So my bitch ass is like, okay, Dad. So I'm like, put away all my clothes, except the only ones that were out were, like, what I was bringing with me to Ohio. So all I had to do was, like, literally pick up the clothes and put them in my suitcase. So he comes marching in 5 minutes later and sees that my clothes are still out on my bed, which were the clothes that I was packing. And honestly, like, I don't blame him, but Homeboy really started to lose his shit. So he literally comes to my room, he's like,
are you kidding me? Like, are you really kidding me right now?
And I'm literally sitting there like,
what?
And he literally starts picking up my clothes, he's like throwing them around. I don't really know what that really did. I think it was just more of like a rage thing, and he was just like so mad at me that I really didn't clean my room. It was just being a little brat. But he starts throwing around my clothes, and I'm just like,
what are you doing? Like, those are the clothes that I'm bringing to Ohio. Like, I just need to put those in my suitcase. Like, I put the clothes away like you asked me to.
And he was just like,
no, like, I'm tired of having to tell you to do things like 100 million times. Like, I'm taking away your electronics, like, blah, blah, blah.
So he was like so mad at me. And, you know, like, then I like went to bed, it was fine. So I wake up the next morning, and not only is my dad still mad at me, but my mom is furious with me. And I'm like sitting there like, what did I do to you? Like, am I missing something? Like, what is going on? So she's mad at me too. So he marches up to my room, and like that night he hadn't taken away like my electronics set. So I was like, oh, fine, like, whatever. He marches up to my room, like bursts open my door, and was just like,
give me your phone, give me your iPad, give me your computer.
And I'm just like,
Oh, fuck. He was serious.
So I hand them over, and he takes them. So we're on our way to Ohio. My mom's mad at me. My dad's mad at me. You know, like, Arden was fine. She was kind of just sitting there. Honestly, like, when I was younger, like, more like my freshman year, like I said, I was a little bitch ass, but, like, I would get in trouble a lot. And, like, not for doing, like, bad things, but just, like, for more, like, being, like, bratty and stuff. And, like, I was so used to it at that point that I was just like, ugh, like, here we go again. So we're in the car, and they start talking about military school. So my dad is talking to my mom, and he's just like,
Yeah, hey, will you just start researching some military schools for him? Because I honestly can't take him anymore.
my mom's like, oh yeah, for sure. And my ass is sitting in the back seat, shitting my pants. I'm literally like, could you imagine me? Like, me in military school. Sorry, I just needed a moment. But, yeah. So military school, like, the thought of that really terrifies me. To this day. And I'm a freshman in college and barely even live at home anymore because obviously I'm living at school. So I'm shitting my pants. He, like, gets out my computer, or he has my mom get out my computer because at the time I was working on driver's ed, so he was like,
Well, I mean, since you're not going to be doing anything for 5 hours, like, you can at least use your computer and you can do driver's ed.
So I'm sitting there, like, doing my driver's ed, being like, I hate my parents, like, rah, rah, rah. So she's researching military schools, and he's in the car. Every, like, couple, like, probably, like, every 30 minutes, I would just start to get yelled at for being, like, ungrateful and, like, not listening and just, like, overall being a brat. And keep in mind that this was, like, all from not putting away my clothes in 5 minutes. Another little backstory from this whole situation. We went to McDonald's, and so another little backstory from this whole situation. We go to McDonald's to get lunch, and they're like,
What do you want?
and I'm like,
Oh, I'm not gonna have anything.
and you know why I said I wasn't gonna have anything? Why my hungry ass said I wasn't gonna have anything? Like, literally my stupid, hungry ass looks my dad in the eyes and goes,
I'm not gonna have anything.
because I was inspired by my boy Gandhi, who had gone on many hunger strikes. And I thought, if they're gonna take away my electronics, I'm not eating until they give them back. Yeah, let's just say that hunger strike literally lasted for like a couple hours. So yeah, so I'm on a hunger strike. So we get to my aunt and Pabu's house, and my hungry, stupid ass, who thinks they're on a hunger strike, gets out of the car, and I have a ton of stuff in my hands. So, me being mad at my parents, I'm like,
You know what? Like, I hate these people. Like, I'm slamming my door as hard as I can to see what like they do about it.
so I slam my door, my car door. And the next thing I know, I go to walk away from the door, and for some reason I can't. So I'm holding a bunch of stuff, I'm walking away from the car, and for some reason I just can't pull away. So I'm like, what is going on? Like, come on. Next thing I know, I slowly look and realize that I had slammed my finger in the door of my car. So I scream. I literally scream bloody murder. I'm just like, I was like, someone help me, like, someone help, someone help. And everyone's mad at me, so they're like, what y'all ass want? And I'm like, oh, my finger, no! Freaking out, crying. I mean, it hurt so badly. Like, once I realized what I did, I was like, and it hurt. So I'm like, like, so my mom comes, she like opens the door. I'm like, oh, and she's like, oh my god, like, oh, are you okay? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, Uncle wasn't so mad at me anymore. So I'm like literally crying. We walk inside. I'm bawling my eyes out. Literally everyone is like, oh my god, like what's going on? Like all of my family was there. Like all my cousins, my yaya and my papu, everyone's like, ah! And I'm like, and my dad's like, and my mom's like, oh. And my sister's, who knows what she's like. But anyways, so then I like pull myself together, like we're good. So I'm talking to my cousins and I'm just like,
oh my god, like that hurts so badly. Like I like obviously I cried, but like I still feel like I just need to cry more. Like it hurts so bad.
my dad was like,
Hey, like, come help me get stuff out of the car.
and I'm like,
Okay.
so I'm like helping him. He was like,
If I ever hear you say that you feel like you need to cry more, I'm gonna give you a reason to cry.
and my ass was like. So honestly, the universe really just kicked me in the face when I was already knocked down. Wasn't doing well at all. But yeah, then, you know, my ass would sneak upstairs and use my computer to do driver's ed. And obviously not do driver's ed. And watch American Horror Story a couple times. Also, like, keep in mind, so, like, it wouldn't have been a big deal if we were just, like, at home, because, like, I could have just, like, watched TV. But, like, when I'm in Ohio, like, obviously I'm hanging out with all my cousins, but, like, part of what we do when we hang out is just, like, go on our phones and, like, oh, like, look at this. Like, so, like, not having that, like, oh, felt very left out. I'll just say that. So yeah, so then, like, my ass literally was like,
Oh, like there's no way he like didn't bring my phone. Like I'm getting my phone back at some point on this trip. Like he obviously brought it.
yeah, he didn't bring it. A couple days later, after being on my best behavior, he was finally like,
Oh, you can have your computer back.
and I was like,
Yeah, but like where's my phone?
he was like,
I ain't bringing it.
and I was like,
I'm sorry, what?
and he was like,
Yeah, like, you were in trouble. Like, I wasn't gonna bring all your electronics here.
and I was like,
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Let me get one thing straight. You're gonna give them back to me, but only give me back my computer? What am I supposed to do if I leave the house? Am I supposed to bring my computer with me?
and he was like,
Yeah, I guess so.
and I was like,
Okay.
so then my sister, being the actual saint she was, let me use her iPad. So everyone was on their phones, I was on her big ass iPad, and yeah, logged into all my accounts, was like,
What's up? I'm back. Miss me? Yeah.
honestly, I'm gonna try and go back and see if I can find a picture of my finger, because it was so bad, and the whole entire trip it throbbed. Like, literally, we came home from that trip, and I literally went to the doctor, and they, like, x-rayed my finger because my mom thought it was broken, because it was so purple, and also it was, like, crooked, like, not, like, super crooked, but it was kind of, like, leaned to the side, and literally the whole trip, I was sitting there like this. And everyone would make fun of me for it. But also, kind of, like, another thing, it's, like, my parents, nicest people ever. Like, literally, the one thing that annoys me the most about that story is that, like, if you ask my dad, like, literally the next year, I'll never forget it. I was like, why were you even mad at me? And he was like,
Like, I don't even know.
like, he literally didn't know. And then, these sneaky bitches, I go on my mom's iPad to look something up. It was opened on her and my dad's texts. And what were these bitches texting about, you might ask? Well, my dad texted my mom and said, hey, good job going along with that military school thing. And she said, yeah, I know. We really scared him, didn't we? So I'm shitting my pants, and these bitches were lying. I mean, honestly, that's just parenting 101. Like, I'm totally using that tactic when I freaking have kids, if they're little brats like I was, because honestly, I was very scared and was very good after that, but until I saw that text literally the next day and was like, But yeah, so literally he doesn't even know why he, like, punished me. Like, he doesn't know. He's literally just like, I don't know. And I'm like, it was because I didn't put my clothes away. He was like, that's, like, not a big deal, though. And I was like, but yeah, so that is my story time. I hope you guys enjoyed them. Gives you a little insight on my, crazy life. And yeah, so anyways, I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Kwanzaa, Happy Kwanzaa? I don't know. Just happy holidays. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video, which will probably be my 2018 video, unless I vlog, like, more of my winter break, which I might. Haven't really decided yet. So, subscribe so you can see that. Also, you know, give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment anything that you would like down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.